una institución que tenía como misión contribuir y marcar una diferencia en la vida de sus alumnos. Alguien que ha desafiado muchas normas con un corazón generoso y con el deseo simplemente de ayudar a sus alumnos a superarse y hacer lo mejor que puedan. Él tiene una licenciatura en negocios internacionales de la Universidad de Baylor, una universidad cristiana privada en el estado de Texas y una de las mejores en la región oeste de los Estados Unidos. Además de haber instruido en muchas materias como economía, estudios sociales, historia del mundo y de los Estados Unidos, también se ha dedicado a crear programas rurales en Honduras en lenguaje de señas para niños sordos. Estos 2 años han sido llenos de retos, frustraciones y triunfos. No han sido fáciles ni para sus alumnos ni para él. Siendo norteamericano, le ha tocado adaptarse a nuestra cultura, a tradiciones y a leyes muy diferentes y que no siempre incentivan el mejoramiento de la educación de nuestros jóvenes. Ha sido muy exigente con sus alumnos y han sido 2 años de crecimiento, de descubrimientos y de mucho trabajo para todos. Pero juntos han logrado alcanzar muchas metas y ver poco a poco cambios radicales, tanto en las exigencias académicas, el sentido de curiosidad y responsabilidad y últimamente el desempeño en clase de sus alumnos. La labor de maestro es muy noble, pero no siempre es agradecida. No olvidemos que muchas veces es el maestro que más nos exigió, que más nos hizo trabajar y que no nos dio tiempo para excusas, los que más influenciaron nuestras vidas y decisiones. Son a veces esos maestros los que siempre recordamos, los que nos impulsaron a grandes cosas en la vida y a quienes debemos agradecer su tenacidad y su perseverancia. Después de residir en Honduras por más de 8 años, él y su esposa Jessie han decidido que es hora de explorar nuevos horizontes y que quizás les lleve a países en América del Sur. Por lo que es propicio entonces que al partir también de Brassavola comparta con nuestros graduados un mensaje de lecciones aprendidas y generosidad para el futuro. Le damos la palabra al maestro Mr. Daniel Fox.
Padres de familia, amigos, invitados, autoridades escolares, colegas y principalmente seniors de Brassavola 2019. Me siento enormemente honrado de tener la oportunidad de hablar con ustedes esta noche en nombre de los muchos maestros y administración que han contribuido tanto a sus vidas durante su tiempo aquí en Brassavola. No puedo pensar en una mejor manera de terminar mi tiempo aquí en Brassavola y también en Honduras. A nuestros invitados que solo hablan español, les pido disculpas antes de este discurso porque lo voy a presentar en inglés para los graduados de esta noche. Podría dar este discurso en español, pero corremos el riesgo de estar aquí toda la noche, ya que yo comento bastantes horas. Entonces, class of 2019. At this moment, I would like to share with you one of the greatest stories ever told in human history, the story of the Karate Kid. In this story, a young high school student named Daniel moves to California from New Jersey, along with his single mother. Daniel has trouble fitting into his new surroundings and is consistently bullied by fellow students who are members of a karate school named Cobra Kai. Daniel is eager to find his place and eventually receives karate training from an older Japanese-American man named Mr. Miyagi. Daniel is eager to train and learn the art of self-defense, but when he arrives to practice, Mr. Miyagi continuously has Daniel do household chores, such as painting the fence, sanding the floors, and very famously, waxing the car. Wax on, wax off. Daniel does the work patiently in anticipation of eventually learning karate. When his patience finally runs out after weeks of hard work without learning any karate, Mr. Miyagi finally reveals to Daniel that in fact he had been learning karate the entire time. That all of the motions he learned while doing the household chores were actually karate moves and techniques. Because he put in the hard work and time in a seemingly unconnected activity, Daniel was now ready to become a karate expert. I always resonated with this story. Maybe it was because the main character's name was Daniel, which is also my name. Although trying to avoid being called Daniel-san throughout my life has been rather difficult. Maybe it was because Daniel's father was nowhere to be found, just as my father left my family when I was 8 years old. Maybe it was because Daniel lived only with his mother, who worked tirelessly to support him, just as my own mother did for me. Tonight, in the spirit of Mr. Miyagi, I would like to leave you with some final lessons that I hope you take with you. Always do what is right, even if the action is unpopular, even if the action gets you in trouble. The definition of right and wrong is going to be different for everybody, but most people can agree on what is ethical and what is not ethical. In life, it is up to you to find whatever moral code that you're going to live by and follow it. Some of you might turn to the Bible, others to societal norms, and others to popular culture. But creating these moral codes isn't something new. People have been establishing these codes for thousands of years. In medieval times, knights followed a code of chivalry, which instructed them to honor God, live a life of service, protect the defenseless, fight for the common welfare, obey authority, speak truth, and respect women. When Jesus walked the earth, he taught the Beatitudes to his followers, a kind of moral code which today can be found in the book of Matthew. This code specifies that we are blessed when we are, and I'm paraphrasing, selfless, empathetic, humble, motivated, merciful, peaceful, and persecuted. It's not a coincidence that Jesus mentions persecution at the very end of his speech. This is because when we live honorably and when we do the right thing, we will naturally stand out from the rest. Especially in today's culture, we live amongst a group mentality or group identity, which mostly believes that if you're not assimilating into the collective culture or way of thinking, then you will be ostracized and rejected. When you stand up for what is right, you will naturally begin to see people treat you with more hostility than they once had. But all of this is necessary if we want to create a better world. Pick your battles, but if you're going to have to fight for something, fight for what is right. Lesson number 2. Success is earned. It is not something you are entitled to be given. Understand that nobody in this world is going to give you everything you've dreamed of achieving simply because you exist. Everything you desire, whether that be a quality life, successful career, or a happy family, must be attained and earned through hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. As I've told some of you before, I never controlled what grade you received in my classroom. You controlled your grade through the effort and work you put into the class. Each time one of you came to me asking for more points or a better grade, you were asking the wrong person. Whenever I desire personally to change a certain aspect of my life, my wife, who is the brightest, kindest, hardest working individual I've ever known, not to mention drop dead gorgeous, and who is my better in practically everything, always asks me the exact same question. What steps are you going to take to change? This is because an idea and a hope for a better life will remain an idea unless it is acted upon. If you want your dream bad enough, then pursue it no matter what the cost, no matter how long it takes. Bottom line, your dreams can come true if you work hard enough for them. To quote my favorite president, Teddy Roosevelt, nothing in this world is worth having or worth doing unless it means enduring effort, pain, and difficulty. Final lesson, and it's one singular word, love. Although that word simple, and everybody is capable of understanding its meaning, it actually might be one of the more complicated concepts to put into practice. Now, these concepts can come in two parts. First, love whatever it is you pursue in life. You should genuinely love getting up in the morning and going to your work. Your career should never be a chore. I'm so grateful to have found that myself in teaching, and I hope you find that similar feeling in whatever career you choose. The moment you find yourself not wanting to go to work every day is the moment when you should reevaluate what career you have chosen. The second part is the slightly more obvious, which is to always love the people in your life. Loving someone doesn't mean that you must agree with every part of their being. And in fact, the common belief that if you love me, you will accept everything about me and everything I do is a terrible lie. If your future children are standing in the middle of a grocery store, screaming and throwing food everywhere, then I would expect you as the parent to do something about that behavior. Imagine if you approached that child and simply told them, "It's okay, I love you." I'm not a parent myself, but I call that terrible parenting. Rather, in love, it is going to be your responsibility to discipline that child. In that moment, the child is not going to like the discipline. In that moment, they very well may despise your very existence. However, true love is the desire to see the other person reach their maximum potential, to be their very best. Sometimes that requires confronting someone we love about unhealthy habits. Sometimes that requires them confronting us with something similar. If we continuously love through seeking to help each other be better individuals, the natural effect will be the elevation of society as a whole. Please understand that all of these lessons are not easy. I myself personally fail day in and day out to achieve them. It is a continual process of trying to improve every single day. The journey upward is always filled with difficulties. You will slip and fall. You will fail. However, the definition of experience is what we learn from our mistakes. When you fall, get back up. When you fail, try again. Never give up. Class of 2019. It feels like only yesterday that we shared our very first class together. I can only imagine what you all must have been thinking, having this rather large white guy with a naturally intimidating presence standing in front of you that first day. I don't know if you remember that very first lesson that was taught to you, so let me remind you of it now, as it is extremely pertinent to your present situation. In that very first class, I communicated my goal and philosophy for you as students, which was that you are not only in school to gain understanding of subjects like history, economics, or anthropology, although that's something that would naturally happen as a byproduct of our time together. Rather, you are in school these past 2 years to learn how to learn how to grow yourselves as individuals, to learn how to work hard, to learn how to build positive habits, to learn honesty and integrity, to learn how to change yourselves for the better. In the same philosophy of Mr. Miyagi, the goal has always been to teach you about what awaits you in life without you ever fully realizing it. Sanding the floor were those written exams. Painting the fence, your research papers. Wax on, wax off, me holding you to the highest possible standards. Everything done in those classes were meant to prepare you for whatever you want to pursue in life. Now that reason and purpose behind that philosophy lies directly in front of you in a matter of minutes when you receive your diplomas and officially end your time here at Brassavola. The lessons are over. The world and all of its possibilities are out there waiting for you. And although you are now leaving Brassavola, Brassavola is never leaving you. Every single one of us on this stage will always be praying for you, always be thinking of you, and always be there for you. Thank you, students, for everything you have taught me during my time here. You have taught me self-awareness, humility, and believe it or not, compassion. I am so immensely proud of every single one of you. I will always cherish this opportunity that I've been given to have been a part of your lives these past few years. To To conclude, I'm going to leave you with my wife's favorite life motto. And remember that this is not plagiarism, because she is getting credit for this. Alright? That motto is always to pray big, live big, and love big. Congratulations, Brassavola class of 2019.